Hello, everybody. Dave Burke, First Star Football Report. As many have seen already, the OHSAA has sent out a release adjusting the season for 2020. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this live video. I just thought I'd go live, and I want to let some people have a chance to come in and get a chance, because we just kind of threw this up there on our YouTube page and on the First Star Football Report Facebook page, and also on Twitter on my feed, Dave_Burke. So as people know, a lot of different things are going on with COVID and cancellations. We've seen some schools already in the Southwest Ohio area and across the state of Ohio that have canceled their athletic seasons, not just in football, but we discuss football here. And kind of, some of it you kind of understand some of the reasons, but at the same time, you scratch your head and wondering if people are overreacting on some aspects of this and maybe reacted too soon. So we're gonna dive into this release, some things I found that I question, and we're gonna talk a bit more as we go through this. Also, we will have it set up here on the page where if you are on one of the forums there, like we talked about, the First Star Football Report Facebook page, YouTube page, or on my Twitter feed, and you put in a response into the feed itself, I'll be able to see those comments as they come around, and be able to discuss them and kind of look into maybe what you want to add to the conversation. So we'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back again. Dave Burke, First Star Football Report, talking Ohio high school football and football in general. As we stated in the opening, and we've allowed this to kind of get started a little bit here. The OHSAA, Ohio High School Athletic Association, has a just season, and I think I've seen some posts and so forth. People are excited the fact that they feel football is getting closer. But when you look at this release, even in the title, they stress, if football is approved by the governor. So Governor Mike DeWine has yet to put his seal of approval on the fact that they're going to allow contact sports, football being one of those contact sports, even though they have released other sports to have competition. And as we know, scrimmages canceled, not allowed to happen. And what we've seen is some school districts, Dayton Public Schools, Cincinnati Public Schools, programs like Trotwood Madison have had their season ended. And I kind of wanted to go through this release because I think it opens some questions to me, wondering what they're thinking. So very early in the thing, you see that the fact that they say this is under recommendation to end season early, and that all teams will make playoffs beginning October 9th. And basically what they're doing is going to have a 6-game season. And as we already know, some conferences like here in Southwest Ohio, the Miami Valley League, Greater Western Ohio Conference, they've already decided to play within the conference. I've heard rumblings that the GCL South was going to stay within conference and just play each other twice. But basically you have to play 6 games. The first thing I have when you look at this release is that teams will begin the playoffs beginning October 9th, with the state championship games to be played no later than November 21st. The original schedule for the season, that's only 2 weeks off of what the original schedule was if everything just played out normal. Because the championships would have been played December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So basically 2 weekends. It's on a shortened 2 weekends. Supposedly this was a 9-0 vote approval within the OHSA staff, board of directors. Again, the Harbin system, the computer ranking system that everyone kind of complains about, and sometimes there's issues. You see teams that probably deserve to be in the playoffs not get in. they're out the door. They don't matter. Everyone's in. Coaches in each region will conduct a tournament seed meeting on the week of September 28th to form the regional bracket, similar to the process in other sports. If this is the case, why don't we just do this normally? Why don't we come up with a way to maybe reward those who have the super successful seasons with seeding them with bye weeks and so forth, and get more teams in? It's already on the table that's starting the 2021 season. More teams are coming in the playoffs. So maybe this will give a look at something else. But I still go back because we still do not have the approval of Governor Mike DeWine that contact sports can happen. But then as you go into this release, schools may keep their first 6 previously scheduled games, but all regular season football contracts are now voided by either school. So any school can get out of a contract they may have to play another school. So now if you're one of the conferences, you got to make some changes. I think I saw some we're going to have 8-game seasons and so forth. Now you got 6. So you're going to have even those going to have to make some changes within those conferences. Additionally, there are going to be new playoff regions decided to come up with in December by the OHSAA. And then the other thing that had me scratching my head was schools that are eliminated from the playoffs may continue to schedule regular season games up until November 14th. So is it beneficial to even play in the playoffs? Because when you go and play in the playoffs in the past, the OHSAA controls the gate receipts once you get into second round games. And then you get into, are you better off just continue playing and if there's allow fans into the stands of any numbers, you have your gate. But then also something else that happened with the OHSAA announcing that schools now control the rights to broadcast games, live streamed video, and keep the broadcast rights, generate revenue through that avenue. And having done games in the past, be it on sidelines with Time Warner or Fox Sports and so forth in the years, and having used to broadcast the Wayne High School football games online in the early 2000s as far as audio, this may be a better revenue stream for schools. Just to say, we're going to play games within the local confines and come up with a way to raise money to generate into the school instead of playing in the OHSAA playoffs. So that just kind of, makes me scratch my head. The next part of this release, and basically schools that have currently paused sports could still begin their season in September or early October and compete in the playoffs. So now you get into a school, we'll use Dayton Public Schools, Cincinnati Public Schools. Why, let your teams prepare, stay within the confines, because the way this reads, you don't have to do anything the first 2 weeks of August. You don't have to play 6 games from the way I read this. You could play 3 or 4 and you're in the playoffs. So you have total control of what you want to do. And so then you get into a whole bunch of other things that I just question. And it's like, let's have more of structure. I think that's the thing everyone's talking about with COVID-19. This is kind of like I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he said it was like taking spaghetti, throwing against the wall and seeing what sticks. There's so many different scenarios here that makes me scratch my head. And, me more than anybody, we want football. We want to see football played on the field. We don't want these kids not playing. We want them to have a chance to have, especially the seniors, to be able to have a senior season, get on the field, Show what they can do so colleges can recruit, because this affects recruiting as much as anything else, let alone memories that they're going to have the rest of their life. But it's kind of like there's so many different scenarios here that schools can take that just, I feel someone just needs to step forward and say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's what you're trying to squeeze everything together. Why not just, instead of a 6-game season, make it a 4-game season, play in the month of September and start your playoffs in October. Simple as that. But I mean, because you're going to allow teams to play 2 games and be in the playoffs. And the way this reads, there's no limit. They can play 1 game and be in the playoffs. So it kind of, just makes you scratch your head. What are they thinking? So this live feed presented thanks to the support we get from First Star Logistics. And we're going to have just a break here to come back and discuss this even more. So stay tuned.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Again, we want to thank First Star Logistics for all the support they give us at First Star Football Report. Make sure you check out First Star Football Report. We've changed the way it's laid out. It's more of a social gathering where you can join for free. We have different groups that have forums within those groups and forums and so forth where you can comment. You get to build your own profile. No different than Facebook, no different than Twitter, where you have your profile and you can post your thoughts and they will go into the activity feed on the site. Also, those who sign up in the month of August for a membership, free membership, if you want to decide you want to take advantage of some of the stuff we're going to be doing content-wise, it's going to be premium from paid members. You can sign up for a monthly. You can sign up for an annual. But anyone who signs up, even for a free membership, we've got 5 signed copies. I said signed. Former Ohio State Buckeye running back Maurice Collarette signed 5 books. Thanks to our friends at First Star Logistics for giving these to us to give out. And we're going to do a drawing. And we'll probably do that drawing live, where we'll use an online spinning wheel, put everyone's name on that wheel, spin the wheel. We'll give away 5 books and send those out to you. So enough on that. Let's get back to this. Again, if you want to make a comment, please do. If you're doing it on Facebook, you're going to have to accept our live stream, the company we use to stream our live videos. And then you'll be able to make a comment right inside the feed, and it shows up right here on my screen and I can see it, and we'll try to answer your questions. But getting back to this release, the OHSAA saying that basically they've changed it. Again, one of the things that they did get done right was the fact that they took cross country out of being a contact sport. That was a head scratcher here the other week when those things came out. If you saw our live stream last night with Andrew Gantz and Coach Deion Black from West Carrollton, one of the things he said was Coach Earl White of Dayton Belmont, a man I've known when he was at Thurgood Marshall and on to his move to Belmont several years ago, passionate about working with young men, very disciplined coach, was just heartbroken that, Dayton Public Schools had stopped their season. Will this change anything in Dayton Public Schools? Will this change anything in Cincinnati Public Schools? I hope so. Like I said, we want to see as many kids participating in the game of football, especially those seniors. Don't want to take away from the seniors and the memories they're going to have, especially in a year where everyone's going to make the playoffs. So, but again, I just question when you start looking at part of the release they had in there was responses to one of the questions posed by superintendents, principals, and athletic administrators in a recent membership survey indicated that nearly 60%, 890 out of 1,498 respondents favored either reducing the regular season and maintaining full OHSAA tournaments, or maintaining the full regular season and maintaining full OHSAA tournaments. As I brought up early on in this, if the original idea was to shorten the season, which they've done with 6 games, and they're hoping to get approval from Governor Mike DeWine, did they really achieve that by having everybody in the playoffs, extending this out to where basically it's only a 2 weeks difference? At that point, I think you're better off, you're saying we're going to play everything out. If you get to play your games, you get to play your games. We still have no guidelines on what testing is going to be done for student athletes, coaches, officials. There's so many different pieces to this puzzle that we're still waiting on answers. And they're saying that this season is going to start the week of August 24th. If you're going to do this, I as much as I'm going to see as many teams as possible get in the playoffs, I don't know how you do it. And I don't think that maybe falls in line with what you would expect the approval from Ohio's governor to be, because you would think that their thing they're wanting to do is have a shortened season to get this season done before we get into more of the winter. And as we know, in Ohio, weather can be anything. We've had football seasons where I've been in covered state championship games up in Stark County where it's 50, 60 degrees. I've also been at those games when it's snowing and 27 degrees or even colder. You just don't know what you're going to get. And like I said, another person I spoke to who covers games on the sideline shooting photography, are they going to be able to shoot photography during this season? If so, are the photographers responsible for getting tested themselves at their own expense? Because the majority of these people do not make any money shooting photos. Most rules don't allow it, especially when you get into OHSAA sanctioned events. If you cover an OHSAA sanctioned event, as far as playoffs, especially state championships, you cannot sell your photos. No matter if a parent just wants to pay, you can give them away. You can't sell them because they have their own photographers that are paying to be the official photographer for that event. And their way of generating revenue for the OHSAA. So, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. My concern is I think I was looking for more of a structured calendar, the way this season would be played out. Can you, in some of these leagues, have an actual conference championship playing 6 games? Because I think, I looked at some schedules, there were going to be 8. we've seen some unique matchups come out of this because you got people scrambling. And I don't mean leave Middletown out. I mean, there's a GMC school who has been left out. And I think I saw earlier today, I think it was in Worthington, where they've basically got an injunction where they can get sports started back up. And like I said, I'm not against wanting to see more teams in the playoffs. It just kind of get to the point where, by doing that, are you maybe making it to where the governor doesn't sign off on allowing football? Because like I said, the structure I'm reading here and on this release, the fact that you're going to let teams continue to play games if they get eliminated. So you go into week 1 of the playoffs. Playoffs begin Friday, October 9th. If you lose October 9th, you can technically still schedule games for through till November 14th. So then you're going to have a lot of scrambling going on. I think I wanted to see more structure. I don't have a problem if it's going to be a 6-game season. You play your 6 games, you get in the playoffs, you lose, your season's done. But now with this, is it really getting into a thing where we're looking out for the student athlete? You talk to the kids are going to tell you, I want to play. That's what they do. They want to play. So, I mean, you get, like I said, right here. If you have a comment, make it. It'll come through. I can see it. I'll be able to do just like what I showed you right there. Your comment on this screen. Because I want to get your guys' thoughts. If you're watching this live stream, post a comment. I just, give me a second here. I'm going to open up one of my other screens. And I want to take a look. Here it's something. So bear with me 1 second. I want to see if this is getting out to everybody. I'm going to share this to my regular Facebook page as well because more people. Okay. So I've got it now posted on the regular. I just wanted to make sure it was getting out there. Again, you can post a comment either on Facebook or through Twitter, Dave_Burke, or on our YouTube page, First Star Football Report YouTube page. And I will see it in my screen over here, and I can add it. So bear with me doing this by myself today, so a little different. And I know we got some people out there. Post your comments if you have thoughts on this. It's just like I said, news came out. I saw the release from the OHSAA. I just kind of question, I guess, the format because of what. At first, I thought, oh, great, they've got a format, seasons laid out, but it's kind of a mod podge. It's all over the place. I think there need to be more structure. It doesn't matter if I have no problem that it's a 6-week season. But the fact that state finals are slated to schedule no later than Saturday, November 21st, that's only a 2-week cutoff from what was going to be normal. So I think you get into what are you going to do, and then the fact that teams being able to play after they lose a playoff game. If the whole point is you've got to get approval from the governor, will he sign off on this? That's the question I have right now. Here are the other playoff details. Playoff seeding will be via a vote of coaches the week of September 28th. Harbin ratings suspended for the 2020 season. Just do seeding by the record. If you have a bunch of teams that are 3-3, try to keep them as close as possible. Maybe get them out of the same if they're out of the same league, get them out of a different league. But instead of sitting there going, coaches are going to vote, shouldn't have to. This should be cut and dry. All playoff contests through the regional semifinals and possibly the regional finals will be hosted by the higher seeded team. So no more, so you have some schools hosting games all the way through the regional semifinals. And then they've added in possibly the regional finals. So you get into some, it used to be home field advantage. It won't be now because, it's limited crowd capacity. Here is the one thing: schools must commit to participate in the playoffs by 11:59 on Thursday, September 17th. With playoff regions will be drawn on Friday, September 18th. Schools may withdraw from the playoffs without penalty until Thursday, September 24th. I think I'd rather seen the systems kind of stayed in place, maybe added some of these scenarios in place, but give schools a chance to play out a season, as many games as they can play. If everyone's going to make it, you kind of have your schedule. Like I said, I was looking for more 6 games in an 8-week span in case something would happen and you had to have a team quarantine or something. You can kind of, allow that to happen. So overall, we're sitting here, it's August 7th, and we're still uncertain the game is going to happen because, like I said, at first, I think I saw some posts on social media and it was just like people are excited. Hey, we're going to have football. But then you sit there and you see the release, and the big thing first thing that I underlined, I know it's hard to see, was if football is approved by the governor. That hasn't happened. Let's get the approval from the governor. Have him sign off. Say, yes, you can play football. Here's what I expect. Here's the parameters. Here's the restrictions. Let's do that. Let's get that done. Have him commit to that. And then give me all this. You've already taken away the scrimmages. Teams can live with that. But let's get the approval where you can have the contest between schools, where this season can start off. Like I said, we're August 7th. They're planning on the 24th, the season starting, and we're yet waiting on the state of Ohio, the governor, to say, you have the go-ahead to play the games. Let's get to that part. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear Mr. DeWine come out and say, hey, we want our young people competing on the field. We value what that means. We want all the precautions taken for their safety, for our coaches' safety, officials' safety. But here's the parameters. And then give me a schedule. Don't give me a schedule and then sit there and tell me it's not approved yet from the governor. So, and I know, we've one of the people the OHSAA lost was Mr. Snodgrass, who was a very big proponent of the game of football. Sorry, I hated seeing him leave the OHSAA. It's a loss. So, but I mean, I want to see the governor sign off that we can play football. The lieutenant governor, he understands the game of football. He played at the University of Dayton. He's a football guy. He knows the importance. But don't give me a schedule saying you can start playing games on the 24th, but the governor hasn't signed off on it yet. So, Mr. DeWine, if you're listening, let these kids play. So many people are wearing their mask when they go out. They're trying to do all the right things. I talk to kids all the time. They have done everything in their power. You have kids who have used everything over the spring and summer to stay in shape. Now they want to play. Coach is doing the right things with their kids, making sure that the distancing is happening, making sure they're doing the right things in meetings. They want to see these kids play. But at the same time, we have the OHSAA. They're trying to put together a season. But I think they should, before they've done this release, they should have come to you and said, we need you to sign off on this before releasing this. like I said, no issues of it being a 6-game season and then some sort of playoffs. And I know you're trying to accommodate everybody by just saying it's an open door, everyone come in. But that's not my fear is it's not really reducing the season. You took away 2 weeks. We need more taken away as far as I think what the governor would probably wanted to see was a shortened season. You get on the field, you have X number of weeks. I don't even think if you talk to a lot of these kids and maybe even parents, they're too concerned about playoffs. They want their kids to have a season. If it's 10 games, 8 games, whatever, they want their kids to be able to play. So, all right, that's enough of my ranting. Like I said, I got this. I had to talk about it. What's your thoughts? Leave comments. I'll look at my social media, my Twitter feed. I'll look at my Facebook. I'll look at the First Star Football Report Facebook page as well. See what comments are made afterwards when people had a chance to watch us maybe on a replay. But I think this is kind of putting the cart before the horse. And the horse right now is the governor of the state of Ohio approving contact sports for the fall of 2020. Let's get his approval. Let's get him signed off on the fact that there's going to be games. Let's find a way to get Dayton Public Schools. Let's find a way to get Troutwood. Let's find a way to get Middletown. Let's find a way to get CPS, all the other school districts around the state of Ohio who have put a halt on athletics as a whole. My concern is in some of these schools, you have young men and ladies in other sports that sports engage them in the process of attending school. And yes, that's not what people want to hear. They want to hear people are going for an education, but let's be real. A lot of people I've dealt with over the years, young men, sports is what keeps them out of trouble, keeps them in kind of in a controlled environment. They excel when they're in those environments academically. And it helps them socially. It allows them to build character, leadership skills. So, again, thanks if you watched this. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to First Star Logistics for their continued support on our firststarfootballreport.com website. I encourage you again, and I'll mention here before I close, please go and sign up. It's a place to put your voice, especially if you're getting tired of some of the stuff you're seeing on Facebook and Twitter and so forth. It's a place where we're just talking football. And we've made groups for several of the conferences in Southwest Ohio. I have no problem adding more groups if we don't have your league conference listed. We'll expand it. If you're looking for a place to communicate with other fans about the game. We do articles, we do breakdowns on kids going under the radar, especially affected in this recruiting, because there's a lot being lost in recruiting right now for a lot of these young people. And that's dollars to continue educations. Again, I want to stress we've got, thanks to First Star Logistics, 5 signed copies. Former Ohio State Buckeye running back Maurice Collaret's basically book One and Done, How My Life Started When My Football Career Ended. These are signed copies from Maurice Claret. Thanks to the people at First Star Logistics for donating those to us. You sign up on firststarfootballreport.com with a profile. It can be free. We have a free, basically everyone signs up can get a free. We're looking to generate and create a place for you to talk about the game of football, be it the high school level, college level, NFL level, XFL level. It looks like now with The Rock buying the XFL. So go to there. Early September, we'll do a drawing, give away those 5 books for those who signed up. So till then, let's cross our fingers. Hope Governor DeWine quickly issues a statement that this plan can go forward, because this means nothing without his signature saying, or his statement stating that the games can be played. So enough ranting, people. Again, thank you to First Star Logistics. and we'll talk to you soon.